Hello and welcome to Legalise Vaping by Legalise Vaping Australia. I'm Emilio Garcia and we're here with Brian Marlow. Brian, how are you?
G'day. I'm good.
Yeah, are you good?
Yeah, I'm always good.
Well, I thought you'd be a little bit more angered by the
I
goings on.
could be angry and good. that's within the realm of possibility.
Tell us about the angry side of you.
Well, the TGA, who vapors all know and love so very much, they are releasing an interim report into the legislative framework on vaping. It'll come out on the 23rd of September. It was meant to come out 2 days ago, and then for no apparent reason they delayed that release. The assumption is they probably delayed that release because they are going to be recommending a really fucked regulatory framework on vaping, probably to either classify nicotine vapes as a Schedule 4 prescription-only product or classify them as Schedule 3, which sounds good because it doesn't involve a prescription, but only to be sold in pharmacies with heavy restrictions on flavours, packaging, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Either way, whatever they recommend, if implemented, would mean that you can't get these products in the way that you do right now, and you won't be able to get them from your local vape shops. And these are the shops that have supported your way to quit smoking. So we're going to be campaigning against it. Once they release these recommendations, there will be a period for review and submissions and ways to try and counter what they're suggesting. We're going to be calling on vapors to make submissions, to take action, to fight against it, to contact their MPs. All the same stuff that we've done before, but it needs to be at an increased level.
Yeah, I got you. And this is something that takes place outside of the legislative process, correct? So
Yeah, you don't get to vote for who's in the TGA. You have no oversight into what they do. No one really does. All we know is that they're going to release a report with recommendations and suck it up.
Well, my question is, it seems like right now there is a growing pro-vaping movement within the government, made up of elected people who
represent the people.
Yeah, that's correct. And so how is it that the TGA can decide to suddenly just try and circumvent the process, basically implement a de facto ban without some kind of input from legislators?
Yeah, well, their response would be, there's a submission process and you can make submissions either which way. But they're under no obligation to actually... Like, let's say they get 10,000 submissions and 9,998 of them say, what the fuck are you doing? This is wrong. They're under no obligation to actually weigh those up. They can just go, we looked at the submissions, we disagree, doing it anyway. It's basically theatrics of having input. And it's, this is what I've been ranting about to people for years, just even outside of vaping, is that as these bureaucracies grow, that are paid for by you, the taxpayer, they're unelected. You don't get any oversight as to who actually gets to head these bureaucracies up or what decisions are made. They're barely beholden to the goddamn ministers that oversee their portfolios, let alone the rest of the party room that forms government that represents you. So you have this third or fourth tier of government that is answerable to no one, costs tens of millions of dollars, and can make decisions on the fly with barely any consultation process, no stakeholder engagement, and we're meant to just suck it up. Well, that's not good enough.
So what you're saying is basically, even if we have the entirety of the country, let's say, hypothetical, not going to happen, but 99% of the country says, hey, we don't agree with what the TGA is doing, they're actually under no obligation necessarily to listen to the people.
They're not under an obligation. Now, look, obviously, if you can swarm submissions, then the optics of that are quite bad for whatever they're trying to push. And you can then lean on politicians to arc up and push back. But the key issue is that unless we get, one, a shitload of submissions in countering what they're suggesting, and two, then get politicians arcing up, well, it's all for nothing.
Wow. So really the only route to making sure that the TGA doesn't fuck vapors is to make it politically unfeasible for them.
Correct. And the only way to do that is, like what we always say, contact your MPs, tweet them, send them emails, get angry, tell them you're not going to vote for them if they don't support your right to vape. And, really arc up, because these are your rights that are under attack, and these are the products that have helped you quit smoking. So if you don't want to go back to cigarettes, and we know from our surveys that about 45% of vapors say they will go back to cigarettes if they can't access their vapes, you need to really get motivated.
Yeah. Well, a politician that just knows he has your vote or she has your vote has no real reason to give you a concession to change their position on anything. If you're like, well, if you don't do this, I'll be mad, but I'll still vote for you. Then what's their motivation to support you at all?
Yeah, I think that's a key point. Is a lot of people go, well, I'm not a single issue voter. I vote on broad policies. Mm-hmm. Okay, sure, I get that. Amongst the major parties, their policies on a lot of issues are broadly similar. There's some changes around the edges on some funding models and tax rates and things like that. But, the Labor Party versus the Liberal Party isn't sitting there going, if elected, we're going to turn every school into a Bill Shorten Appreciation Society. That's just not how it works.
Right.
They're broadly similar with some variations. So if you're a vapor and this product has helped you get away from cigarettes, a product that kills 2 and 3 long-term users, you probably should have this as a single issue voting threat.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, politicians, if they think they've got your vote, what impetus do they have to take on your concerns? They can just go, okay, shouty person, but I know you're voting for me, so what do I give a fuck?
Exactly.
So they need to know that on this issue, you're willing to tell them to get fucked.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and I hope that as many vapors as possible do, and you need to let your politician know that you're willing to change your vote.
Can't just silently be sitting there going, I'm going to change my vote, because they don't know that. They need to know that, I'm a long-time Liberal voter, and I've always voted for, Fiona Martin. Yeah. Well, this time I'm not, because she doesn't support my right to vape. Yeah. Or I'm a long-time Labor voter, and I've always voted for Tanya Plibersek. I've lived here for 20 years and blah, 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 blah. But she doesn't support my right to vape. I'm not voting for the Labor Party next election. That is an impetus for change for them. And
the way that the politicians see it, they see, let's say they see 10 people tweet that sentiment. They assume that represents a larger body of their constituents. Because not every single person that thinks that is necessarily going to take to Twitter and voice their opinion. Not every person who's passionate about an issue is going to email, call, etc. So the assumption is this person represents...
every one person that's saying this, there are multiple people out there that feel the same way.
Correct.
It's important that... it's really, really, really important that you make your intentions known. Now, we've seen in the survey about 90% of people said they'd be willing to consider voting for a different party. Yeah. If that party supported vaping. Well, we know that, and we've told MPs that, but you need to let them know as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially, if you live in a marginal electorate or something, and your vote could actually tilt the election one way or another, you have a lot of bargaining power.
On marginal electorates, people sort of go, what does that mean, marginal electorate? Well, it means that every election it's quite tight. Yeah. But to give you an example, Doe Bell, which is an electorate on the Central Coast, that was won by a few hundred votes. Wow. Now, from the vape shops I've spoken to in that area, there are thousands of customers that are walk-in, walk-out customers, not including their online customers, not including the subscribers we have. Yeah. We could actually sway a vote in a marginal electorate just on this one single issue if people are willing to say, support my right to vape, or I'm going to vote you out.
Correct. So vapors really could actually change the outcome of this election. Of the next election, they can say either, you can hold government or you can lose government. Or you can gain government, right?
You can hold government or you can lose it, or you, Labor Party, can gain government. All you need to do is support my fucking right to vape, and I'm not buying it from a pharmacy, and I'm not buying it through a prescription model. Yeah. I want to access these products because they're a consumer product. And at a certain point, they have to listen.
Well, I certainly hope they do, and they'd be fools not to. But I think on that note, Brian, we're going to say goodbye. Thank you very much for joining us, and to all of our listeners, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.